What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you once again to be your stand-in for the YWC reality check. Each week I join my work husband, my dear friend, the one and only Spaz Phoenix, on his YouTube channel and wherever podcasts can be found for the state of wrestling. And this week we have the Ultimate Get Hyped edition, as the first night we cut a great podcast on everything TNA that's going on for Under Siege and the Border Brawl that's happening on Sunday. They're going to be live in Brampton in Canada, and Spaz is going, so we're going to have our man on the inside there live tonight for our TNA Under Siege review. We'll be live tomorrow night with Saturday night's main event. We'll be live Sunday with NXT Battleground and AEW Double or Nothing. But even though we gave you our predictions the other night, this podcast goes full on into theories, speculation, booking, and all of the great stuff that I hope you will enjoy. So make sure you check out the podcast, be subscribed to the Spaz Phoenix YouTube channel, comment down below for what matches you're most excited for this weekend, and I hope to see you all live tonight on YouTube. As always, have a great day, stay sexy, we'll see you then.
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check for the second time this week with 2 more pay-per-views, and that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
Woo! That's right, my friend. Holy hell, do we have a busy weekend in front of us, and I couldn't be more exciting. I mean, you're going to be there in person for,
For TNA, yeah.
For TNA, and I'm jealous, my friend.
Here's
You
the
got a
awkwardly
show to see.
Here's the awkwardly formatted plug. Go back one pod. We talked about all the TNA stuff that's happening this weekend, because now we're going to talk about all the WWE stuff this weekend.
That's
And
right.
we're not going to talk about AEW because AEW is a fucking mess.
They're
lucky they have Will Ospreay.
Ospreay and Hangman cut some great promos, but talk about
I hate
Punk
Hangman.
living in your head rent-free still. Like, everything Hangman said was basically like, my life has been shit since I cut that promo on Punk.
You know what
that
it
was
is,
basically
man?
his promo last night. Like, I hate to say it, but
You know what it is, and like we're gonna do this quickly because neither one of us has time tonight. Let's put our cards on the table.
absolutely.
Maybe it might not even be a Hangman thing. Like, you know how like people either get Punk or they don't. Like when I was growing up as a Hardy Boys kid, like it's the Hardys, you get them or you don't.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name? Hangman. You know, you talk about like how badly somebody or how well somebody resonates with you. He resonates with me in the negative.
Yes.
Like
I've
there's
had that
nothing there's nothing he does, and I've had well-balanced, well-minded people like yourself. I used to talk more with Guapo back in the day.
Yeah.
I've sort of shot messages back and forth with the Wrestling for Life guys. Shout out to them. They're going to have their hands full this weekend as well. I've had people try to explain it to me. I've had people try to tell me what they see, and it's like these are not just like, you know, the typical like tribal AEW people.
No,
Maybe
no.
it's a me thing. There's
I've gone to you,
there.
and there was a point in time where I was very pro Hangman when he was before he
Yeah.
did the whole drunkard thing. Like, him and Kenny Omega had a really good story with the tag team thing that happened and the Bucks, and I was like I said, the drinking thing, whatever. But the story was good.
The
I
whole story of
enjoyed it.
Hangman was like he had a buddy for a while. They had tag titles for a while. Then they broke up, and you know Kenny cheated on him with Don Callis.
Yeah,
And then he went and like got shit faced and slapped a batch of baby batter up his wife and got rewarded with a title shot.
exactly.
That's the Hangman and Kenny's story. Like,
And
and
that's it.
I came around on Kenny. Like I was always like
Yeah.
I've always said like Kenny is a great wrestler, and
He
I
even
get that
came
he's
out this week
engaging.
saying that he's got ADHD and autism, Kenny Omega, and I was like, "Holy
Does
shit!"
he? All
That's
right.
right. I mean, like, that's very. I hate saying this word, brave, but it is in the wrestling
Yeah, it is.
scape
Yeah.
because,
Oh, I mean, we're gonna talk about the Miles Bourne story tonight, so
yeah, and
it's that kind of feel
well,
good
that's what I'm saying,
weekend. But
but you get into it because that's like Anthony Bowens being like, "Honey, I'm gay" to Harley Cameron. Like, back in 2002, that wouldn't have flown the
yeah,
same way as the crowd lit up. I think that was at your Forbidden Door, right? Uh,
maybe
I
just
remember.
before, or just after,
Yeah, it was like
maybe just before or just after. Yeah,
I think it was like the pre-show or something, and Harley Cameron
I'm
came
not
out
gonna
there
lie,
flirting with Bowens.
all the credit that I can muster where it's due. the only like other than seeing CM Punk live because I'm a Punk guy,
Yeah.
but like put the bias aside, the only thing that resonates with me from that, not that there wasn't good stuff on the show, the only thing that resonates with me from that show was being there to see Omega and Osprey,
I saw Moxley
which is
and
fantastic.
Bryan in a title match. I remember none of it, but you
Yeah.
know what stands out is Jungle Boy and Ray Phoenix.
Oh god.
Funny how that works, right? They had the
Yeah.
best match of their fucking lives at Grand Slam.
Mhm.
Both of them. They
But like I don't know, like I said, like
unbelievable.
maybe it's a me thing.
No, but
It's like,
it just
but
doesn't
like
resonate with you. It's a
with the
negative black
promo
hole.
with the promo and so many people like, and I mean obviously the people that are talking about it are the people that it's working for. Happy for them. Like I say, I direct my opinion at the show. I'm trying the best I can not to direct my opinion at the fans because it's the show that I have a problem with. But so many people are like, oh man, it was so good to see Osprey and Hangman, like two guys operating at 100%. And I'm like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, no, that's more like 150 and 0.
Yeah, that's really what it was though. Osprey
There
was
were,
the
and
savior of this.
I will say though, like, in all fairness, there were bits of the Osprey thing that didn't work for me either, but it was just like particular choices within the promo. Like the promo itself, the delivery, fantastic.
You know what's got me more
Um,
pissed off than anything to do with AEW is WrestleMania
what's that?
42 not being held in New Orleans. Like, if
Oh
that's a
man.
problem, it's a problem. But here's the issue. Now, anytime forward that you announce a location, it means nothing. It
Mhm.
means absolutely nothing. And that's the big takeaway here. The Rock went out there to make himself get over because
Yep.
he was a heel still, but you know, the final boss, we weren't sure what was up yet. We didn't get the quite to the soul part. And he came out in New Orleans just to get that massive pop of you guys get WrestleMania next year. People already have booked flights and you guys sold pre-planned packages and shit. Like
Mhm. Yep. I know.
I understand. I know it could be like, hey, the venue's no longer available, but they didn't say that. And what I'm hearing so far is it all comes down to, oh, we're gonna get more money. We're going back to Vegas.
Fair, but I mean, you saw some people, and this is like within our own conversations. I know Guapo brought it up, and this is, hey Guapo, if you're listening, this isn't a shot at you, but so many people. Hey, I love Guapo. He was my AEW guy back when I thought AEW was worth talking about.
He's my chat guy now, so you know.
Hey, there we go. But so many people, like those kind of people,
Oh
jumped on it,
Jesus,
and it's like, I bet they're going to Saudi, and I'm like, there's no way. There will be a Saudi mania at
you're
some
talking about
point.
the illegals, right?
Well, fair enough.
All right,
You know,
all right.
I'm gonna do it.
DEI hires.
I'm gonna do a Don Cherry, all you people. Um, but
Listen to us being
Don,
progressive.
Don Cherry did nothing wrong. Anyways, moving
Oh
swiftly on. Here's the thing, right?
yeah.
WWE. We're off the track already. This is awesome. Our track record is amazing.
Well, no, this plays big
W
into them
W
planning
it
forward
does.
because all their
It does.
PLEs.
Yes, it does for sure. Here's the thing, WWE is going to do Saudi Mania at some point before the end of this deal, probably in the last year. And I don't know when the last year is, to be perfectly frank, pull it off the top of my head. I know it got delayed because COVID, rah.
Yeah.
They're going to do Saudi Mania at some point. We've known this pretty much since the beginning, right? That, you know, they're going to escalate it. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get better. They're going to worm their way in from like disposable shows to kind of important shows to big four shows. They're going to do Mania eventually.
Yeah.
They are not suicidal enough to give Rumble and Mania to Saudi in the same
It
year.
says right here, WrestleMania 42, Saudi Arabia and London come up as favorite locations after New Orleans snub. And even when people saying CM Punk
I
sets the record straight, he said, you know, ahead of Night of Champions, you know, he made sure people knew how he felt about Saudi. And he said, I don't hate coming to Saudi. I've never been to Saudi. He said, you know, he made that clear.
Here's
So
the thing, and I know we said it before, and everybody hangs their hat on, you know, go suck a blood money soaked cock and whatever and
yeah,
whatever. As much as people agreed with it, and as much as people wanted to cheer for him at the time because it was a dig at WWE, he said it in character on a television show. So
yes.
even if he goes back on it, he's going back on it in character. So everybody needs to fuck off and stop pulling on that thread, right? Here's my point, right? People accuse WWE of being petty. And you know me, this year, I've been on the trend of I wish WWE was as petty as people accuse them of being.
Yeah.
I wish people could see what WWE would be like if they were actually as petty as they get accused
Look
of
at how
being.
upset they are with Double or Nothing.
But here's the thing.
this
Here's the thing.
weekend,
If they
all
were
in
as
Texas.
petty, if they were as petty as AEW fans accuse them of being, they would pluck WrestleMania next year out of New Orleans, which sucks. Sorry for the people that were planning on going. Go over to the UK, just hop in the jet, go halfway around the world or whatever, and show the people in the UK what a full Wembley stadium looks like.
Or they go to Canada for Mania.
Oh, if they go to the Dome, they put the Mania in the Dome.
Right? And think about it this
Oh,
way, what else is going all out? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, talk about a
and you know what?
trouncing there.
And I know you're blatantly ripping off what I said in the chat now.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Of course, and I said it in the pod last night as well. Oh, I bet you're gonna go to All Out because it's in your town. I'm like, yeah, because it's wrestling in my town.
Exactly. There's still
That's
people we
not a
like on AEW. We don't hate
exactly.
AEW.
That's not an
I
own.
especially want AEW to succeed. We've made that staple of our conversations.
You know what the great thing about going to an AEW pay-per-view is? You don't have to watch the weekly show.
Well, even better than that is
Mm.
that I mean, basically week to week, there's not
But
a
hey,
ton of
CM
story
Punk
to
is on the
begin
poster,
with.
so it's fine.
And so is Jade, Matt
Oh my
Hardy,
god.
Ricky, got
But
him
anyways,
there too.
here's the thing. It sucks that they had to move it, and
Yeah.
I get that it's WrestleMania, so it's viewed in a different context.
Yes.
But let's not pretend on all sides in every wrestling company that we've never had to move a show before.
And they've had to
For
move a
for whatever the
WrestleMania
reason,
before. We've moved
for what
WrestleManias, so
for whatever the reasons, whether it's like logistical or whether it's financial, whatever the reasons are, let's not pretend that this is the first time a wrestling company has ever moved a show. It
yes.
sucks. I get it. People that had plans in place and whatever are going to have to alter their plans. That sucks. They got the rug pulled out from under them. But also, let's be real for a second. You've got almost a year to sort your shit out.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm not minimizing the frustration that some people are feeling right now. I am minimizing the people that are like, oh, I bet they're going to do the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
They're
I
going to go do it.
mean,
Do it in Australia. WrestleMania at 6 a.m. for us. It's fantastic.
I'm just tired of the AEW side in general. But no, I'm
Yeah.
tired. I'm tired of the but conversation. Like every
The
time you
yeah,
say
but, the
something,
yeah, but,
yeah,
the yeah, but, the yeah, but.
yes, because like the go home for Double or Nothing got 575,000 viewers,
But the
and
max numbers, though.
but that's all I've heard. But AEW got 697, and they're up from last week at 664. They had a .13 in the
Oh,
demo,
come on.
right?
I showed you the wonderful thread that I got stuck in yesterday on X.
Yes, yes,
The
that was
buddy that was trying
entertaining.
the buddy that was trying to spin the fact that they had to dump Rampage and they never even got what's it called? Livewire
Yeah,
or sorry.
Collision
Uh
2.0.
yeah, whatever it was off the ground and they
Shockwave,
had to drop
Shockwave. There
Dark.
we go.
Shockwave. They never got Shockwave off the ground. They had to
Close enough.
drop Dark. They had to drop Elevation. They had to drop Rampage. Collision isn't its own
Dark.
show half the time now.
Yeah.
Um, they kind of throw Collision around wherever they feel like it, which kind of gives you an idea of what. Yes, they have a great network deal,
Yeah.
but what does the network think of that show when they just sort of plug it in wherever? Pause,
But the
and
one
they
week where
replace
they
the last
beat
30 minutes with The
with The
Rock.
Rock, right? No, but the one week that they beat NXT, they didn't beat
Yep,
them in the demo. And
yep.
now this week, Dynamite did a .15, NXT did a
And now they're talking
.13.
about the demo.
Yeah, so it's like, that's what really matters, the 18 to 49. It's like, but you were down, almost 200,000 viewers, but we had a stronger 18 to 49. NXT is always somehow skewed older, which I find funny.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
aimed at a younger audience, but it is an older audience because it's the older wrestling fans that like what's being booked compared to
Oh
the
yeah.
main roster stuff. So it makes
And let me just
sense
tell
as
you
to
something, right?
why.
Let me just tell you something, right? NXT is the developmental. NXT is the third brand. NXT is the smallest portion of WWE.
Yeah.
Stand and Deliver outsold 3 out of 4 AEW pay-per-views this year.
Which is crazy. And
I went and did the math calc and trig, as they say.
you you got your geometry on.
Fuck Sidgwick, it's mine now.
Yeah,
I got
you
the spreadsheet. I got the spreadsheet because I'm that asshole.
You have had that
Anyways,
spreadsheet going for a while now, and I love being able to back it up with facts. And that's why I'm
yep,
excited for Saturday night's main event and Battleground this weekend because,
I was gonna say I'm gonna go into Battleground first, only
yeah,
because there's more to talk about. Saturday night's main event, unless they really swerve us, is kind of what the fuck is this?
my question is, what are they going
I'm
to
on Saturday night's
add?
main event from like back in the day.
That happened to
The
me
hell are
too
we
with the
doing here?
wiki, so that's why I'm on WWE. But
Yeah,
they only
I
have
was saying
4
said Rowdy
matches
Piper
for
for
it.
a second there.
Yes.
Yeah, they
So I'm thinking
it's a TV show
SmackDown,
though, right?
but they usually have 5 regardless with the other ones.
Mm,
So I'm thinking one gets added or a segment gets it. Something's going to be
maybe,
added to the show on SmackDown. I'm
maybe.
hoping it's a U.S. title match for the women. I think
Yeah,
Selena Vega should
I'm
get a
hoping
title
whatever
defense.
it is, it's a ladies match, period, because that'll be the next stick they try to beat us with because there isn't any ladies on this show. It's like Tony Khan
Yes,
wrote
I've
it.
heard that as
But
well. Ugh.
let's
Even though they're
go.
going to
Let's
have an
go.
all-women's pay-per-view coming up, we can't have one show without a women's match. Do
I'm
not be
telling you,
sexist.
bro,
The best women's
listen to
division
me.
in all of wrestling.
Listen to me. There's now 3 different ways. There's 3 different ways Tony Khan can, or sorry, that Triple H can own Tony Khan right now. Main
Uno.
event next year's main event next year's WrestleMania with Cody versus Punk.
Yes. Dos.
Do Mania at Wembley 2 nights, sell it out, stick it up their ass.
And have not the turnstile count, the official turnstile count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Trace.
and run Evolution 2 in Saudi.
Oh my God. Expression of women's freedom. Now cover those skins up. I don't want to see no nips.
It'll be the ultimate, like, Tony, you have no excuse. Anyways,
So
enough of
Ruka couldn't
AEW.
go to freaking Saudi. Her asshole's always out. Like,
Oh my goodness.
we can't.
Oh
have
my
her
God.
there.
Can you? Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine NXT takeover Saudi?
Oh, that's exactly what I pictured.
Nikita Lyons would break them. Anyways, we've given AEW enough breath. Let's go. Let's talk about something
Battleground.
positive.
I love what they added with the 6-man tag, and that's a great
I
way to
do.
start. I like this
I was gonna say,
story.
a little bit of precursor before we get into the actual card. We're going to talk about all 6 matches, and then at the end of that, I'm going to have a little bit of a brainstorm / debate with you about the main event.
Yes,
Because I have
think I know
a
what you're
theory.
going on.
I have
maybe.
I have a theory on how they're figuring out what the main event is, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
All right.
Hank and Tank and Josh
Honk,
Briggs
honk.
versus the
Culling.
Culling.
Yeah.
It's fine. I like adding Briggs in with Hank and Tank because he's not like them, but he still fits.
Yes, he's a good guy. They're stand-up dudes, and they didn't want to see him get beaten down because his friend's gone. They're just
Well, this is the thing.
good people.
Hank and Tank are
established
there.
good people.
Hank and Tank are the guys that are there for anybody that's having a bad time.
Yeah. Henry,
Like,
you need help?
when
We got you.
Henry needed help. Now it's Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs, who's looking across at the Culling, who has another former partner of his in it.
Yeah.
Which is a thread they're going to pull at some point.
Oh yeah.
Izzy Dame is getting some fame out of that big boot that she does.
Yeah, which is great.
Sean Spears is getting wicked praise backstage for sort of like the player coach role that he's got right now. You and I have talked about that.
Yes, we have in length because he's so good and he's such a valuable asset to them where you're not seeing him. People are like, oh, he doesn't do enough on TV. He's like, he's not trying to do a lot. And what he is doing is great because he's playing at the mind strings of Briggs here.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I would love to see Briggs in the Culling eventually, honestly. I know it's like, oh, everybody's joining something, but I feel like he fits and then turns eventually, like the Brian joining the Wyatts kind of idea.
Yeah, I think he joins the Culling to try and pull Brooks Jensen out of it.
Yes.
To like bring his buddy back. Because if you think about it,
lost a friend, get a friend. Yay.
Well, no, not only that, but if you go back with the long-term storytelling, because NXT actually does that. Oops, did I say that out loud? Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, Fallon Henley, right?
Yeah.
That group split apart, and all 3 of them went heel for a while, separately.
True. What was the name of the group?
Briggs,
oh my God.
I don't think they had one.
They didn't have one, right? It was just
the 2 of them. Okay. It was the 3 of them hanging out in Fallon Henley's bar. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now she's drinking like martinis with JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix is missing in action because
for some reason,
her boyfriend's not popular.
I had them established in something in my mind as a unit.
Oh, they were an established. they were an
I'm saying
established
name
unit, but
wise.
I
Could
don't.
have
Yeah.
sworn they had a name. Oh,
Somebody in the chat down below, let me know
yeah.
if I'm
You
fucking
might be
that up.
right, but
But no, Sean Spears in the player coach role and him sort of being the manager that lets everybody else do his dirty work in real life. That lets him go out there in a real coaching role, but lets the new guys that he's helping be in the spotlight. And it's one of those. I should probably turn this back around to another Canadian like Natalia, who has tried to do the same for various people, and mostly people just shit on her because she's not the most exciting. But then again, you hear what she does for everybody backstage and whatnot. So the Sean Spears situation makes me look differently, and the Natalia situation, even though they're on different shows, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think Hank and Tank and Briggs get the win. You know, the three big fun-loving guys. I'm pretty sure this will kick off the show.
yeah, I think it's going to kick off the show.
Um,
I'm actually going the
Started off a
other
bit
way
fun.
though.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
gonna say the heels are going to win because I think they're going to want to pin Briggs so they protect the tag champs. And you were
Yes.
right, by the way. They didn't have a name. For some reason, I thought they just said this group is over. So, and then all the news
Yeah.
sites say like WWE group dissolved. So they never had an actual name. I could have sworn
Yeah.
it was something with NXT at that time. Everything had a name and a gimmick and all
Well,
that
they did
silly stuff.
with Josh
So,
Briggs and Brooks Jensen. They did the whole like thing with the initials. It was like
yeah.
BJ and JB,
Hmm.
and then Fallon Henley came in, and didn't really work anymore.
Exactly. They quickly dropped
Then they
it,
had
but
then they had Kiana James hitting on Jensen because he wanted to get a little bit of his dick wet there for a
yeah.
second. Kiana James then proceeded to got drafted to Raw and then got booted into the Phantom Zone.
Yes,
But
disappeared entirely. But no, I think the heels win here as a both a mind control type thing and also to
okay.
get their heels more digged in deep, their claws digged in deep into Briggs. So I think the plan here is to just use a little bit like you said, Izzy's boot's going to be busy.
Fair. Unless they find somebody, who's an oddball backstage that could come and help them out for a night. Oh
Hmm.
my god. If they wanted to level the playing field and they throw in somebody like a Thea Hale.
That was
Thea
a
Hale
thought of
just go
mine exactly. So
Thea Hale
she
just goes like wild Chihuahua and Izzy Dame.
even though she's
Like makes
one-eyed
her.
and currently looking like a pirate, poor thing.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
That's
Um but
that's for
yeah.
another
So
time.
no, it'll be fun. I don't like maybe they start the Briggs and Jensen like push and pull tug of war type story, but like it's just at the beginning. I don't
Yeah.
see anything like drastically happening. Maybe
No.
you have a moment after the match where Briggs is trying to talk to him and Hank and Tank can be like, "Hey buddy, don't waste your time. Don't let your buddy like fuck with you or whatever."
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a pull away type thing, or maybe there's a jumping after the match and Hank and Tank come back and make the save and clock him with the bells or something like that.
Something.
Honk honk.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Do something. But like I said,
If they hadn't
win or
if
lose, I
they
think
hadn't
it's
let
going to
her
advance the
yeah.
story a little bit. Not a big drastic thing, but like you said, just enough to get your mouth, whistle wet.
Yeah, there we go. You almost went really, 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 really sus with that right there. I'm just gonna leave that where it is. I hate to say this just because my bias is gonna come through just because I'm a fan of Shotzi in general. If they hadn't let Shotzi go, Shotzi added to the Hank and Tank act could have been really cool. Hank and Tank and the chick with the tank. I don't know.
It would have
But
worked.
I don't know.
I
She's
would have been
she's
a
she's
fan.
gonna do something. She's gonna do something cool, I'm sure, at some point. Kalani
Hopefully
Jordan, Sol
soon.
Ruka,
So glad they added this
women's
match. I loved how they got here too. I mean, NXT this week for me, like it's not a perfect 10, but it was so
yeah,
entertaining. And the mindset I
really,
was
really
in,
solid building block
like
episode.
just a really good episode. It went by so fast. It got to the end and I was like, damn, that's it. And I know we'll touch on that promo too. We will get there, but
Yeah.
oh my god, that was a highlight. But this turned out to be better than I thought it would. Zarya and the little
Mhm.
miscommunication with her and Soul, are they eventually going to turn on each other? That
Oh, definitely.
could Kalani Jordan take this belt? We don't know. It's possible. She's a former champ. Sol Ruka, I mean, does she lose it right away? I don't think so, but anything's possible here. So I think
Keep
she
talking. I gotta look something
retains,
up for
but
a second.
I'm thinking Sol Ruka goes ahead, she retains, but there's going to be a big miscommunication spot between her and Zarya that leads to her almost losing her title, and that's going to be the catalyst for her going ahead and no
Kalani
longer
Jordan
eating
defeat
carpet.
Kalani Jordan defeated Sol Ruka last year at Heatwave in Toronto.
See?
I saw this match,
Yeah,
and
I
I knew it was
once you
familiar. I
said
just
it.
didn't know whether it was from whether I didn't know whether it was familiar from me being there, from me watching it on TV. Athletic as fuck. This is
Yeah.
one of those ones where Kalani Jordan's doing this weird heel turn. Sol Ruka is the baby face, but like has to look over her shoulder now because there's her friend gonna turn on or whatever. There's a lot of story and a lot of character that goes into this, but it's also the kind of the opposite where I kind of don't care how we got here. In ring, this is gonna be awesome. In
Yes.
ring, this is got another women's match to compete against on the same night. This
Yeah.
is where they try to say, maybe everybody's looking at Stephanie and Jordan, but don't forget about us.
Well, and it's a styles clash in the best possible way
Mm.
too. Not with each other, but I'm saying with the matches because
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Jordan Grace typically relies on a heavier hitting, and Stephanie can fly, but she's not,
Mm,
too frilly and overly lucha. But Soul and Kalani, I mean, the Soul Snatcher alone, Kalani can, she's a gymnast, she can flip everywhere, and
mhm.
come on, like those two, they're
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's the acrobat
versus the
ick match.
powerhouse, exactly. The two
Yeah.
different
Whereas you're gonna
styles.
get
Love the
yeah, I
contrast.
mean, if this was a fatal four-way, it would be an awesome fatal four-way, but then we'd have a double champion again. It's fine. Speaking of more character than in-ring, and I say that in the most respectful way possible, just because this is the most dramatic of the night, and it's the only match. Actually, no, it's not. I was gonna say it's the only match that doesn't involve champions, but it's not
Mm.
the only non-title match. It's Tony D'Angelo versus Stacks.
I mean, they're trying to at least state that this is the biggest feud of all time as far as like rivalry goes, with the sense of like the betrayal because of how deep their story is and how laid the foundation has been. And I get the gravitas they're trying to put, but it's just not fully
Doesn't hit
there.
for you?
It's not a miss. It's just not hitting as hard as I thought it would. The betrayal started
Mhm.
really strong with the dark state turn, and I'm glad he didn't end up being leading them. It just was,
Yeah.
hey, but then after, all right, we lost Luca, he's with the fishes, okay, and then kind of the threat, but it just felt like it lacked a why did he turn? Oh, I want to be the boss. I mean, it is that simple, but why now? Like it just didn't get really fleshed out as well as I thought it would.
You know what it is with the Tony D'Angelo story, right? Like there's a couple things, there's a couple of like dramatic things you think about when you think about like outside the box wrestling. There's Chase U and there's the Tony D'Angelo family. There's something like the Hardys doing the Hardy compound.
Yeah.
We got Anarchy in the Arena coming up this weekend, which isn't exactly a match per se. I think out of all the long-standing dramatic, you really gotta throw your disbelief out the window for it to work. I think the D'Angelo family is the most dedicated
Yes.
story that they've done,
In NXT,
and there's, like,
yeah. Because
this
they have
is, like,
this massive mob family that shows up anytime they have like some meeting. You got like 15 fat
but, like,
Italian guys from
he's gone
this
but
the salami shop.
he's gone to prison. The
Yeah.
family has come to the arena to swear him in as the new Don.
Yeah.
He's had, like, turf wars with Legato back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
as
they've
far
gone
as
all out, really making this a whole saga. Yeah, you're right.
as
It's
far as a thing that shouldn't
Godfather 1,
really
2, and
exist, like,
3.
this is The Godfather within a wrestling context, and it could have fallen flat. I put this and Chase U, but Chase U is a little lighter, so it's easier to take it seriously as what it is
Yeah,
because you don't have to take it seriously overall.
because of the
This
brevity.
is
Yeah, this
like
is dramatic.
Tony D's been in the world title picture. Andre Chase, no offense, has never been in a world title picture, and I don't think he will be. And that's cool. That's fine. Andre Chase has his role,
It
but
works. Absolutely.
they've brought this unbelievable dramatic portion of wrestling right to the I want to say the apex. Like it's NXT, but it was the NXT title.
Yeah.
Because didn't he
And
go he went for, Breaker, or did he go for Trick?
I think Trick.
Okay.
I want to say
But
Trick.
you know what I mean, Lo? Like, of the totally, like, soap opera dramatic portion of wrestling, like I say, I think the D'Angelo family, whether it's for you or not, and I mean, it's definitely for me, for let's be real for a second, but it's the most dedicated one, and it is the one that when it does fall apart or when they do have to actually just be wrestlers that wrestle, I'll be kinda bummed. Like,
Yeah.
Chase U went away, and, like, god damn it, I actually in the context of wrestling, god damn it, I actually felt something.
And we were
And now
both
they're back.
wrong. Actually, it was
Now
Ilya
they're back.
Dragunov.
Now they're back with the new class.
They got the new class, and you know what? No Ilya though. Ilya was the one that took on Tony D'Angelo.
Okay.
So, but you know what?
Wow.
I don't mind the new class. Like you said, the
Ilya got
brevity is
in
fine.
his short time. In his short time, Ilya got trusted with getting a lot of questionable acts over.
And he
So
did a
credit
great
to him for
job.
that. I hope we see him back soon. I
He
hope we
was a
see
super
him.
questionable act. I mean, you look at him and you're like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is this? Like, he just doesn't.
The Mad Dragon,
Yeah, he does not look
right
like a
out of Game of
wrestler.
Thrones,
Yeah,
right out of
just
Game of Thrones.
does
But
not have that prototypical look, style, anything, but puts so much of his soul into the ring mat, literally. So,
I think because we saw the Riz run away scared, because we saw what's his name, the consigliere, Luca Crucifino, run off into the desert, supposedly never to be seen again.
yeah.
They're coming back. You know, Stax is the new Dawn. Maybe they try Tony D on the main roster. I
See,
want to
that's
see
the
Tony
thing.
D
I don't.
get called up because I think
I
he deserves it. I
he definitely
don't know what they're
deserves it,
gonna.
but that's the thing. Like this is an act that would only work in an NXT environment, like maybe TNA as well. But you get my point. Like main roster fans,
I'd love to see Tony D do a run in
uh,
TNA. I
like
think that
the
would be a lot of
Fiend
fun.
would not have worked if Bray was not
Bray.
at Bray before. Like if they just had the Fiend debut, I don't think it would have worked. I
But
think
you know what it
people
is
would have
though, right?
rejected it. But they're like, oh, he's now a creepy Mr. Rogers. This is something. Let's get a chance to see
Yeah.
this
But you know
evolve.
what it is though, and the thing that always I know, and I know I've brought this up to you before, but I think like overall the thing that gets lost in the shuffle because Tony D is such a character, the guy I don't know, and I don't know his real name. I've never bothered to look it up, right? But the guy behind that character, yeah, it's a character. Yeah, you can take it or leave it. Yeah, maybe it's a bit cringy to some people. I'll leave the leeway for that. But he's so good at wrestling his way out of the gimmick,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Where you see him come in and it's the gimmick, and you got the mob music and the knockoff Sopranos music and everything,
Hmm.
and then throughout the course of the match, you forget the gimmick, and he's just a dude, and he's just throwing people around, and it's not particularly pretty in the ring, his style, but
Yeah.
like you believe it by the end, and then the bell rings again, and he's the Don, and the Don won, and the family's there, and he's
Eh,
got that way of coming in with the character and then leaving it at the door once he steps in the ring.
I'll tell you his
If maybe that's a
name,
good way to say it.
but you got to tell me how old you think he is.
Oh no.
His name is Joseph Areola.
He's a nipple.
Right? That's
I don't know, 32?
He's 29, close. So
Fuck off,
he
eh?
went by Joey Areola, born June 9th, 95. He was only on the Independents for a year and a few months
Mm,
because he had his match on the March 7th, 2020 show at Slamfest 17. And what happened
oh,
after that?
oh, he got
COVID.
picked up?
COVID.
Oh.
So everything shut down. And then he got picked up the following February. He was signed to NXT. So he debuted in 2021. Feels like he's been there longer, but he came right in as the Don.
Okay, but
So
2021 is 4 years
4 years
ago.
ago. Yeah. I
And
mean,
especially with how fast some things go in NXT, 4 years is more like 8.
yeah, no kidding. Cause I mean,
I
you see
remember
some
when
people
they
go up
they
immediately.
I remember when I was cringing the first episode of NXT 2.0,
Oh,
and we saw Braun Breaker, and I wasn't quite sure what he was, and like Von Wagner, and I wasn't quite sure what he was, and Chase U, we weren't quite sure what that was. And then you see this vignette of like, oh my god, they're literally doing the Godfather
yeah. And he comes out
or
and
the
you're like,
Sopranos or
yeah,
whatever.
whatever you want to call it. You know,
He,
they're
he was
doing
walking
the
around the
mob.
docks. He was walking around the docks talking about the business and the family.
Yeah. And we're like,
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna I'm
really?
not gonna do full Adam Wilborn
But if he
doing
wasn't
full
so
stacks.
dedicated to the character, if he wasn't
Yeah,
so embodied as the ultimate Don, like it wouldn't he put into it so the fans gave it right back. Like you can
yep.
tell when like certain gimmicks for people, it's like it fits. It works. Like the young blood thing for
I
Javon,
think
it fits, but it's not quite him. It's he hasn't fully figured out who he is yet.
yeah.
Right now he's just the young blood because he's a kid, but he will evolve into something bigger.
Right now, Javon is one of those. He's exciting. He doesn't quite move like everybody else. Literally, I'll get over because you guys are gonna like what I do, and I'll figure out who I am along the way, and it's working for him. Whereas, like I say, and I'm getting repetitive now. Tony D came in with the gimmick,
Yeah.
and then every time he gets a chance to wrestle, he wrestles his way out of the gimmick, which for me, he doesn't have to because I like the gimmick. I think they're doing it well. I think they treat it lightheartedly enough that you
Yeah.
don't have to say it's dumb because it's not pretending to not be dumb.
But look at how
Does that
much we
make
got
sense?
out of this just in conversation sense because
Exactly.
Tony's put in the work. I've gone both ways with this. For some reason, I was gonna feel like because if you kill off Stacks here, then it's done for. Like the threat's nullified and voided. So
Yeah.
Stacks has got to win, and then there's got to be a comeuppance eventually, maybe, or maybe he doesn't get revenge, and that's how they write Tony off. You never know. I mean, it could happen, but
But I was gonna say, like, if he just wins and the family stays together and it's status quo, that's cool. Good win for him on pay-per-view and whatever, but it's status quo.
exactly.
Whereas if he drops it to Stacks, he goes to the main roster, there's always that hanging thread of, like, unfinished business. Meanwhile, he's gotta go make his way in new waters, and now NXT is being ruled over by a new family with a new Dawn and all that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
because this match is. I mean, like I said, they're calling it the most personal grudge match in NXT history, and they're not wrong. Like I said
The
earlier,
only thing I
because
don't
brothers.
because Stacks is a great guy as well, right? But
Yeah,
Stacks, as good as he is in a singles, and he is good in a singles, he's great in a tag because he's the best hot tag guy they have in NXT.
yeah,
And I don't mean he's like the most energetic, like you're not going to get like the Rascals or something really high flying and absolutely fireworks out of him. But for that exact moment in the match that says this is where the hot tag happens, he gives you the hot tag, and that's what you need.
yeah,
And that's what he did
and
for Tony, and that's what he did for, like, when it was him and Two Dimes in the very beginning before,
oh my
Two
god.
Dimes went over to, before he was sleeping with the fishes, and he's in obscurity, in the abyss,
Yeah, exactly. And
as
speaking of
Thing
the
would say.
abyss, I mean, for Battleground, they have this like, warship in the ocean type logo design for the
Yeah.
for all the sets and all that type of stuff. But it
Yeah.
just looks like everybody's covered in semen. It's really it's especially the ladies, like they just put white splatter on everybody. And I mean,
Well, I mean, you just sent me a graphic of Soruka and Kalani Jordan, so I'll put some splatter on that later on. It's fine.
but
Don't
I mean
worry
just
about
look
it.
at her chest, it's
Don't pay
already
attention.
covered and that's not from my
Don't pay
personal
attention to the
collection.
thumbnail. Don't pay attention to the thumbnail. Well, it's like the All In when they made the All Out announcement in Toronto. It's just the Toronto skyline and rain.
Yeah, just adding a little bit of mist. With this though, it's
But
supposed to be a water effect, but it just like I said, it looks like everybody's chest is covered in
it's
semen. It's bad. It's
they're
not
not
a
perfect. See, you and I have never had a problem saying that WWE is not perfect.
not at
But
all.
I am gonna throw your feet in the fire. Stacks wins.
Yeah, Stacks wins.
Stacks wins because the family's now behind him.
Yeah, I have to
There we
agree.
go.
It
There we
can't be
go.
any other way. It doesn't feel like anything
The
but.
only other the only other way it works is, you know how, like, the family has just been, like, Tony and Stacks and Luca and Riz, but, like, every time they need to have, like, a family meeting, they've got all those, like, big extras and
Yeah,
whatever.
like I said, they grab all
Eh
the meatheads from the
yeah,
salami shop. Yeah.
but so you could have, like, a false hope thing where the
You
Riz
get the
and,
fucking gabagool.
sure.
Bringing them in.
But, no, if you have, like, this like, Tony D is really getting his ass kicked, but he gets, like, re-inspired because out comes the Riz, and out
Mm.
comes Luca Crucifino. They've come down to cheer him on even though it puts them in danger, and he ramps them back up, and, all you see is Stacks snap his fingers. It's like, "Yeah, you might have kept 2 members of your family, but I got the rest," and
Yeah.
this is the way that they subtly introduce the new family, like, maybe get a couple more, like, big jacked up
Yeah, big members
indie guys that they just signed or something like
you think
that.
they can go and pluck a few from LFG Evolve and
Oh, the fucking big dude that trucked, Obafemi.
Jasper? Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he
and
is
you know
that's a
what's
big dude.
absolutely hilarious? My friend Patrick said, "You know what? I just finished the finale of LFG, and the guy that won, I literally can see him tomorrow being in a championship match with Obafemi. Like I could picture him coming out and just wrecking Obafemi and going right into it. Like he's ready to do it
Mhm.
now." And literally the next night on NXT, that is exactly what fucking happened. Like I
Nice,
was like, "That's a call," but I got to give you credit for that.
nice.
I'm looking forward to the next match, I think more than most. And as I said before, I mean, The first time ever for a lot of things, but this is gonna be important.
I was gonna say because am I losing my mind? Jordan Grace, when she was the Knockouts champion, she never defended the TNA women's title on
Never.
NXT. She had an open challenge on TNA that a lot of NXT people answered.
Yes, but she did not defend
Unless
the
unless
title.
unless I'm unless I'm forgetting
No,
something.
'cause it
Uh
says right here, the TNA World Championship will be on the line at a premium live event for the first time ever.
oh, definitely not at a pay-per-view. She
Yeah, but
went
they're
for the
saying
NXT
I don't
She
think
went
she
for the NXT
defended.
women's title
Yes.
as she was the Knockouts champion because she did the
Yes.
champion versus champion with Roxanne Perez, and that's when you had Cora Jade come out, and you
Yes.
had Dana Brooke. Oh wait, Ash by Elegance
But
come
the
out.
but the open challenge happened, yeah,
Hmm.
not as a defense on NXT, so the TNA
Mm.
title has not been
Yeah,
defended on NXT.
the open challenge happened just before that because that was another one where it was like a TNA pay per view on the Friday and an NXT pay per view on the Sunday. So
Yes.
Jordan did the open challenge the same weekend, and that's when Tatum Paxley came out as the first person to go over to TNA,
Wasn't that the
and
one
that's
where
when all the
Wentz won the X Division title?
uh
I think it
no, that was No Mercy.
Oh, okay. That's what
That
it
was No
was.
Mercy, not Battleground. But that was like no, I remember what's her name? Tatum went over to challenge Jordan Grace, and that's when
Yes.
everybody immediately went, "Oh, see, this isn't a good deal. Look who they bothered to send over." I'm like, it's the first night, guys.
Give it a chance.
Like, give it a chance. Like, of course, it was Jordan Grace, and she's the champion and whatever. But like, she had already had previous from being in the Rumble and
Exactly.
whatnot, so she was a great obvious choice. And plus, the whole like Ava being like, "Oh, you don't think you've got any challengers left? Little tiny Roxanne, have a Jordan Grace." You know, the move like it would be like on the main roster if Zelina Vega did an open challenge and it was answered by Rhea Ripley.
It's just so funny because Julia is supposed to be where Stephanie is right now, and Stephanie was supposed to be straight up. Like, she wanted to go to
Mm.
NXT, but she was supposed to go straight up to the main roster, and the popularity flipped, and they just led
Bro,
different paths entirely.
sooner than later, we're gonna be looking at we're gonna be staring right down the barrel of Julia versus Charlotte,
Yeah.
and everybody's gonna pretend it's bad because it's Charlotte.
But you know what?
It's gonna be
It'll be great.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
exactly.
fantastic. Um, Joe Hendry, Trick Williams. A lot of this depends on what happens tomorrow night at the TNA show in the tag match with the two of them with their respective partners of Elijah and Kazarian. It kind of sucks in the sense that it kind of puts Elijah and Kazarian in the background, even though they're in the main
Yeah.
event. Um, I don't know, does somebody else that was involved in that show up at NXT and come and fuck with it? Um,
Because basically, my
I
thought is Elijah gets pinned on Friday, which leads to Joe
mm.
retaining on Sunday. That's basically
If they
how
if they
I'm
if they
going
if
there.
they if they do a nothing thing where Elijah or Kazarian pin each other, and meanwhile Trick and Joe Hendry have already like brawled into the back,
Yeah.
one of those really safe endings
Mhm.
type of thing. Now, history being made, very, very cool. Um,
Imagine if Trick
I'm gonna
won. I mean, I wouldn't hate it,
yeah,
honest to God. I
I'm gonna hold off on for the last 3 matches, I'm gonna hold off on because I think it's one conversation. I
Yeah.
think the match is going to be a lot of fun. Trick's a great character. Joe Hendry's a great character. Kind of like the Tony D thing. They're two guys that are looked at as so much as characters that they're underrated as far as what they can actually do in the ring. Super unfortunate. Um, Opposite side of that is I'm sorry, I'm sort of skipping around here a little bit. Stephanie Vacour, Jordan Grace is
Yeah.
probably going to be the match of the night.
Yes, and probably I think might be the main event. I
Yes.
know you have a theory afterwards, and we'll get
I have a
fully
theory I have
into
a
it.
theory about the main event. We're gonna get there. That's why I'm sort of putting all these
Yes.
matches next to each other.
I noticed your building blocks, sir, so I'm following in
Yeah,
suit. I with
yeah.
this one, I'm all over the place, but I think Jordan Grace is gonna take it here. I'm looking for one big shock.
They've done a little bit of hot potato with the ladies' top. Not that that's a bad
Not a
thing,
bad thing. I'm
but
tired
they've
of
gotten
3-year reigns at this point, you know?
it's not a bad thing. But I do think Stephanie Vacour, with the way that like you said before, it was her and Julia came in at the same time. Everybody thought it was going to be Julia, but I think WWE, NXT, the fans as a whole, all kind of decided Stephanie's the one.
Yeah. She's
And
our girl. Exactly.
not that I don't want her to be champion, but Jordan Grace is one of those people that's awesome with or without a title. So losing here, or like I say, even if there's a bit of a fuck finish, or
Yeah.
maybe they brawl to a draw or something
Yeah,
along
some
those
type of no
lines.
contest because Stephanie losing
Stephanie
here hurts her, but Jordan losing doesn't hurt her at
Jordan losing
all.
here doesn't hurt her, right?
Unless it was like a squash thing, but that's not gonna happen. I mean,
It's not going to be a squash. Like
yeah,
they are.
there's no way. There's no way to even have that. So that would be the
There's not
only
going to be a
option.
fuck finish in here with the way, even when Jordan Grace did the what do you call it, the build up package
Yeah.
on Tuesday talking about this match. She made a big deal of, this is where I came. This is where the best women's division is. Like this time last year, there were three hot free agents. There was Stephanie Vacour, there was Julia, and there was me. Julia's gone now. She's gone to do her
Yeah,
next
we both beaten
step.
her. I like
Time to
that
see,
note.
who the real one is, right? When really there was four that came in, so they kind of buried Zarya a little bit with the way they put that video package
Yeah, but
together. But she's
she
in the
was in
mid
her
card.
own
It's
league
fine.
kind of idea. She wasn't really
Yeah,
going for the main belt yet. She was doing the
yeah.
tag thing,
But
which we preferred.
we got all four of them in pretty rapid succession,
Mhm.
which was kind of cool. Um, I think the match is going to be
They did a great job
fantastic.
presenting each one individually too. I mean, everybody
Oh yeah.
stands out as an individual. And
Well, the thing is, Stephanie Vacour doing the sit down interview is really cool because I mean, she spoke about it herself. Like her decision to like make a pit stop into NXT was one of the things she wanted to do. She wanted to work on promos. She wanted to work on her English and
I
whatever.
appreciate her
So
doing it in her language and in English, like going back and forth with
yes.
the
Oh
subtitles
yeah.
as well when like it
Oh,
counted
that's
when
always good. Like even go back to somebody like Rey Mysterio,
yeah.
who
They've
will go
always
back
done
and
well
forth
with
between
that.
Spanish and English, and Asuka, who will do a promo entirely in Japanese, but
Mhm.
like you still kind of get the point.
Because of the passion
Um,
behind it. Yeah,
because the
absolutely.
passion, and she's very animated, she's very expressive, and like I
Very
say, like
effervescent.
coming out with the like the painted face or whatever, kind of like a Finn Balor when he's the demon, helps with the expression as well.
Act
But
of
I mean,
God.
Stephanie Vacour, like somebody who came in as being seen so prominently on day one, being able to say, "No, I came here because I know I still needed to work on this, this, and this."
Yeah.
Like that's really strong for somebody that's just come in the door to be able to say, "No, I've got a lot of shit still to work on."
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Like,
no
that's
doubt
the kind of
about it.
thing, it's like, we go back to Osprey once again, but, like, everybody thinks he's, like, the guy in AEW right now, and I wouldn't disagree. And who's he giving praise to this week? He's giving praise to Jerry Lynn. He's, "Yeah, go talk to Jerry Lynn. It's great to have him, like, at my disposal when I need help with stuff because I know there's still stuff I need to do." And I'm like, you're the guy in
Yeah.
the other company. And to be the guy, to be main eventing their pay per view, to be working your way towards their world title, saving it from Mox, whatever you want to say about that, that's a separate conversation. To be at the pinnacle where everybody kind of unanimously, even the ones like me that don't like AEW, have said, you're the guy, to be like, no, I got a lot still to work on.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
cool.
Like you
That's
know
awesome.
what's
And
happening.
Stephanie, I mean, yes, it's a smaller stage. It's a different type of story. She's working on promo stuff. She's working on her English and all that kind of thing. But it's where you said a minute ago, and I'm coming back around the houses here.
Yes, using my superpower.
The two different ways that they were presented. Stephanie Vacour came in and she said, "Here's where I'm weak. I'm kind of weak on promos. I'm kind of weak with my English." So what does she do to build the thing? She sits down and has a live backstage interview talking about the match. Whereas Jordan Grace, who is a monster from a physical point of view, what do? You basically, I mean, she voiced it over, but you basically did a Jordan Grace workout video. And that's all
Yeah,
you need to do,
that's it.
realistically speaking, because
You're not
goddamn,
wrong. I mean,
there's a reason she sews her boyfriend safely in the overhead compartment. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
But this is going to
That
be the
is her
match of the night.
luggage.
Like I said before, Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan are going to be wrestling to this match.
Oh yeah, no doubt about
I
it.
don't think they're going to falter in that. I don't think they're going to like fall behind in that or anything like that. But they have to be. I mean, and they're fighting for the mid card title as well. So the expectations of them are different.
Yeah,
But their job on what is this Sunday is to wrestle to this match.
yeah. No kidding. That's their
I
full
think it's going to be a lot of fun.
intention.
Obafemi Miles Born
Now
is
here's the
one of
next
the
one.
one of the
Ooh.
coolest stories that NXT has done in a long time, and it's kind of cool in the sense of we talk about NXT, we talk about WWE, we make all the jokes about oh they actually know what long term storytelling is, but they kind of pulled this out of nowhere, and I kind of like that they did.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not that we didn't like Miles Born and
But
the
no,
no
no, no.
quarter
But
catch tour are a lot
you're
of fun, and
absolutely right though. Like, holy shit, did this come out of nowhere, like a total into somewhere moment because he just won the battle royal, and people are like, "Oh, it's another gender situation." I'm like, "Are you insane? Like, he's not a jobber.
But this is the thing. What it does,
It
never
gives
mind
the
what it does for
everyman a
him.
chance."
Yeah, but what it does is it tells you the next time they have a battle royal, don't think you know who the winner is going to be.
And don't sleep on it. Exactly. It gives you that fucking
And
perfect
dare I
moment.
make the comparison because people are shitting on him now? Like this is the Jey Uso story of NXT.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's what they wanted.
with different elements, obviously.
But
But
either which way, I mean, I'm
he's come
trying to
out there. He's
find the
done the.
Stephanie Vacour booty gift to send you that I was looking for the thumbnail, and now I can't find
Oh
it.
dear.
God damn it! But
Oh dear. There's a lot of them. It's fine.
it's
Do
there.
the
It's
skull fucking
somewhere.
finale and
Well, no,
Booker T
this was her
have
own
Booker T do
personal
all the sound
collection.
effects. But yeah, no, like you can't
I
not
like it.
we and I said it, what did I say? I said it like last week or something like that. Like NXT, not exactly known for its like somber, heartfelt moments, like the
Yeah.
serious stuff. The feel like they're good with feel good stuff, but not necessarily like a story with some depth. I mean,
Yeah, not
we're
not
doing the
usually.
Mafia like a couple matches before this, right? And there is that part of me now. Like WWE wouldn't let me think this 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever you want to say. There's a lot of what if going into this.
Yeah, no
Like
kidding.
95% sure it's going one way, but the 5% that says what if is a big fucking 5%. And that's a credit to him and how he's literally presented himself out of nowhere in the last 2 weeks.
I mean, the only person that impressed me more than Miles was Shawn Legacy. Shawn Legacy came out with a
Oh
nothing
yeah.
entrance. You know what I mean? No one knew him, and he left so over with those fans just cheering his name. That was awesome.
And
That's
then
the
immediately
NXT
somebody
vibe that
else
I
took his
love,
title shot
right? So
with
hey, what are you
with
gonna
Ethan
do? But
Page and Ricky Starks, or sorry, Ricky Saints in the back turning Ava into friggin' Cartman. Screw you guys, we're doing another title match.
I knew
I
I've been waiting to bring that up because it's just
Screw you guys. I will say, to be fair, I'm kind of glad they're not doing it on the pay-per-view because as much as I love the Tony Fumble Rumble and all the people involved in that are worth talking about, even I'm going to say it's getting a little repetitive at this point. It's perfectly fine for a main event of a regular weekly episode of NXT. Yes, we will acknowledge that the weekly episode of NXT has been moved back to the Performance Center because of ticket sales. That
yeah,
sucks. We wish
which
NXT
it
was
does
doing
suck,
better.
but it's not. I mean, there's so much more of a story than just it's the fifth show in a row. It's just
Yep.
TV. The
But also they're acknowledging
PLE
it.
is sold out. Yeah, they're saying like, hey, no, we
Like
oversaturated the market.
we said, like, yes, I pick on AEW because of their attendance. I have the spreadsheet. It's fine. But we also credited them when they started moving out of arenas and doing like those sort of like smaller intimate theater settings. I'm going to give the same credit to our guys here. Like they
Yeah,
weren't selling. It's in Florida. It's not like it's that far to go back to the PC.
exactly. And
Um
people have been told, I guess they worked out. Anybody that did buy tickets, I guess, not only got a refund, but had an option to go to the PC, is what I was
yeah,
reading.
well
So,
okay, but only so many of those are going to fit in the PC.
well, no, I
That's the
know,
other problem.
but I guess they had some type of like system set, and they were getting
Yeah,
people
whoever
into
had like
other
the front row, the
shows.
second row, the third row,
Yeah,
whatever the case may be. But you know what? Like, does it suck? As an NXT guy, do I want to hear that they had trouble selling a show? Not really. But you know, they saw the writing on the wall. The sales for the pay-per-view are doing really well.
they're almost sold out. And then you go ahead and you look at the other side of it, where I don't want to be a Dynamite putting on a freaking show with 1,100 people in a 12,000 seat arena. You know, it
Hmm.
looks bad. It sounds like cobwebs and dust in there, not fans.
Yeah. And what I will say, I don't like the look of it, but they have done different things to negate the buildings that they haven't been able to sell as well, instead of just like tarping off a whole half. You know, time to bring the tarps, as you know, somebody would have said at some point. I don't know who.
Ah, giggity.
um but no, instead of just tarping it all off, they cut the building in half. They do the short entrance. It does look a little bit stark when you're watching it on TV,
Ever so
but it is
slight, but it's better
but
than.
it is credit to AEW. Like they're trying. different things. I've never seen WWE cut a building in half
No,
like that.
no. I mean,
So
even with the tarps
credit
and
to
all,
them where it's due.
never in that regard.
The tarp, man, in the tarp days, I would go to from the
Time to
300s to the
lay the
100s.
tarps. It's
That that
catchy.
that
Jesus.
SmackDown where I sent you and that other guy who I can't remember anymore, pictures from where the tarps were and all that. That was the same day that I got moved from the 300s to the 100s, and I ended up
Yeah.
shooting the shit with Jimmy Corderas for like a half hour.
Fucking right. That was that show.
So
And you know
yeah,
what?
it
Not
was. It
only
was.
was that super awesome, but this amnesia that you and I have is terrible. We should get that looked at.
It's
Forgetting
true.
everything from the last 10 years. Fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like
But
we've got all this and so much more.
I got to know your
Anyways,
theory. What is the theory?
what is my theory? Okay, you've got 3 matches here that could main event. Vakura Jordan Grace could main event based on the fact that it's going to be the match of the night. Obafemi, Miles Bourne, if they wanted to do like the best feel good moment NXT has given us in a long time, that should be the main event. If they want to make history with the TNA title being finally held by an NXT person, you put that in the main event. So what I am saying to you, I don't know what the main event is going to be, but whatever the main event is going to be is going to tell us what the results are.
I feel you. I got you.
If Trick Williams is winning the TNA title,
It's going to be
that's
on
the main
last.
event. If Miles Bourne is going to upset Obafemi, that's going to be the main event. If neither one of those things are going to happen, we're going to kind of slip back to NXT's default, but NXT's default is end with the fucking kick-ass women's division. And that's
And
not a bad
the women's title
that's not a
changing
bad
hands
thing either.
again. Yeah, no, that's a beautiful thing.
So
I'm with you.
so the first ever NXT person to hold a TNA title, the first ever, I think, person in WWE with partial hearing loss to be a recognized world champion. Like,
Yeah.
I hate to break it down to labels, but because like Miles Bourne's story is cool as it is, but like
Yeah.
we talk about representation in all kinds of different ways, shapes, and forms, but like that's one that doesn't really get talked about very much. And keep in
No.
mind, the last time the other guys did something with disability, it was Ricochet stealing Zach Gowen's leg.
Yeah, because a fan actually organically gave,
Mhm.
a wrestler in a
But did you hear
TLC match.
they're doing this really really cool thing that's never been done before on Sunday?
Hiring the wrong one-legged man?
No,
Oh.
they're having a commentator in a match.
Mm.
It's only about a month late. It's fine.
You notice how that keeps happening though? Like something,
Mhm.
and they can do it. It's like, oh, why only WWE can do XYZ thing? No, that's not my point.
No, just admit you copied the homework. It's fine.
That's the thing. Like how and oh, it's just a comment. No, this is playing out almost to a T how like the McAfee thing felt for a bit, and then the same bullshit, like I said, with the leg, and oh, now we got I stole it because we guys did it on SmackDown. Come on, like.
But I will say, when Obafemi comes out to defend his title, when Stephanie Vacour comes out to defend her title, when Joe Hendry historically comes out to defend his title, when Sol Ruka comes out to defend her title, when Hank and Tank, even though they're not defending their titles, come out with their titles, you know what we're going to see? We're going to see the fucking title.
We're going to see the title. It's not locked
It's
in a
fine.
briefcase, hidden somewhere. God damn, I love that point. Woo, buddy,
Anyways,
that popped
so
me.
if I was going to say to you right now,
Yes.
either Miles Bourne upsets Obafemi or Trick Williams wins the TNA title for NXT, or the ladies
Grace.
or the ladies just kick ass in the main event.
Yes.
Which one do you think is the most likely?
Most likely, ladies kick ass in the main event. What do I want the most, though?
Yeah.
Miles. I want
I want
Miles to
Miles.
win
Any
by
other
Miles.
any other pay-per-view?
Just don't say smile for Miles.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, let me did I ever show you the video I did on that at the time?
Oh,
The clip
yes.
that I did on that at the time? Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was
It's a
legendary.
t-shirt. Everybody gets a shitty t-shirt. It's fine. No, any other pay-per-view, I would be pulling for what I've been pulling for months and months and months, which is we need to see one of the titles cross the line. I've
Yeah.
been waiting to see
You
who
have.
does it, which title it is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I have to choose one, it's going to be Miles.
Damn.
If it's not,
even Miles got you because you've wanted this TNA crossover title change forever, and Miles got you too. I am
Yep.
so into him. And
Yeah.
you know what's great about him?
Yeah.
What?
Everything.
No, really, what? Because he's deaf. Get it? No, no, I'm saying no.
Oh,
I
god
I
damn
have
it.
that relation with the deaf community with my mother. Like I know it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so, like saying I have a family member that has cancer, so you get it. No, but it is the case. Like I grew up dealing with assholes towards
Wait a minute,
deaf
you're related to
people.
Joe?
Yeah,
You're
that too. Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe was a pain in everybody else's ass, and now karma has come around.
He's all that ass cancer. Damn.
Oh,
I
dirt.
mean, Satan packed him tight. Jesus. So, and it's like stage 4. They're like, don't worry, it's treatable. Take old Yeller out back.
Oh,
So,
god damn it.
Miles,
Trump and Carney are gonna show up at the TNA show on Sunday as
it's
I think this
fine.
is
Don't
gonna
worry.
happen.
The
I think
border
it's gonna
brawl is
happen.
happening.
Border Brawl's gonna be
A
fun.
war. Yes.
It'll be the best pay-per-view. It'll be the best thing. It'll be the best thing since WWE had fake Donald Trump versus fake Rosie O'Donnell.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. I've seen people like actively shove my mom to the ground because they've said excuse me to her and she obviously doesn't hear them.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen how a person living with a disability is treated, and then I became
Yep.
disabled myself later in life and really saw how it is to
Mhm.
be both an excessive gigantic whale like the
But
whale
do you
in
know what it
Brendan
is though?
Fraser.
There's two things
There's
that
elements to it,
that are a win.
yeah.
There's two things here that are a win. And I don't have the same experience as you. Obviously, I
No,
don't
no,
have
but you don't
anybody in my
need to
immediate.
either. You
No, I
don't
don't.
need to.
But no, but
That's what's great.
it's one of those conversations where I have to sort of preface it with like I don't have that direct experience, so I'm coming from a different direction. Two things. A, the fact that they said from day one, like almost like a mission statement, like, yeah, this is a thing and we're going to address it, but I'm not going to lean on it. He said that
Yeah.
as a character, and that was WWE saying through him, we're not going to Zach Gowen him, right?
Yes.
And the second thing is, I'm sorry, I am the WWE guy, I am the NXT guy. 5 years ago, they wouldn't have done this, or it would have been really bad.
Oh yeah. No.
And it's so as if you're a Fed guy, like we're Fed
The
guys,
audience would not have
this is a
cheered the
win.
same.
The audience wouldn't have cheered the same, but WWE, to be fair to the audience, would not have presented it like the way they're presenting it now.
Oh,
And I think
absolutely not.
that it's huge credit to either whether it's Shawn Michaels, whether it's the other people in the back, whether it's Triple H himself, whether it's WWE as a whole, whether it's I'm sure Miles Bourne has input on it himself because obviously they're not going to be talking about his disability without him having like input on it. But
Yeah,
it's all come
exactly.
together really well. It's not a pity party. It's not like hey, just cheer this guy out of sympathy. It's this guy's going to be defiant. He does have a bunch of things working against him. He does, it looks like, already have a friend that's getting a bit jealous. That's going to be a story somewhere along the way. And he's going up against Obafemi. Let's not forget about the other side of the equation here.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Obafemi's a monster. And like, there's a big part of me that like thinks this is going to happen. I mean, the only way this happens is if Obafemi shows up on Raw on Monday.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's be real.
I don't see Obafemi losing either. I don't see that happening. I
And
laugh,
see, that's the thing. But
but I would love it.
it means and let's not undercut the historic what do
Nature
you
of
want to say
this, yeah.
no, let's not undercut the historic nature of a Trick Williams win on
Yeah,
Sunday
yeah,
either.
that's what I'm
So
trying
think
to.
about how cool the Miles Bourne thing is if I'm now saying that would be second to this.
I
And even if we
agree.
don't get either one of them, your third option is the absolutely fucking pinnacle of what women's wrestling is in North America right now
Yeah.
in NXT, headed up by Stephanie Vacour and Jordan Grace, is number 3.
And I'm excited that there's more than 5 matches on this card, you know?
It's true. It's
I'm
true. And like I say,
that is
where
exciting to me.
we're getting all intense and talking about that, we've got something entirely fun at the beginning of the night with Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs. We've
Yeah.
got what's going to be an athletic as hell match, like I say, wrestling towards the main event in Solruka Kalani Jordan. We've got your drama match with Tony D'Angelo and Stax. And if I can work in a pretty good transition here, this is after We
I was
get through
gonna
Saturday
say,
night's main event.
what happens before Battleground? Ah, look at
Yes.
that. We both got there. Saturday night's
I
main
mean,
event. And I mean,
I don't think
there's
there's
not a
much to
lot to
talk about
talk
here. There's
about.
4 matches. John C
You and I
J
in unison
J
there, my friend.
John Cena's gonna kill R-Truth.
Yeah, that's the foregone conclusion of the night. Absolutely. I think Seth and Braun beat Punk and Sammy. I don't think Sammy's turning though. A lot of people are thinking Sami Zayn's going to turn. I don't think
I
there's a story for it yet. I think it can happen, but it doesn't make sense for him to turn right now. Like it would just be a turn
I
for a
think you
turn's
can do
sake.
it and justify it because you got 2 different things going on here,
You
right?
could
Because
justify it, but
Sammy's friends gotta remember Sammy's friends with KO. KO doesn't like CM Punk. Sami Zayn on his own would be more than justified in the more generic take of like, what the fuck has being a good guy gotten me? And I'm sorry, no matter what the reason is, heel Sammy versus face Punk in a prominent feud
yeah.
is gonna
Oh,
tear it up.
that's gold. The only thing is that then why didn't Sammy just take the goddamn title match on SmackDown and leave Raw? Like, what was the point of getting your ass
Yeah.
kicked all those times if you were just not going to go with them anyways? So there,
Because I think you can
like, it
even
built
as a
over
cocky
time.
even as a cocky heel, even as a cocky heel, I can see somebody coming along and saying, "I'm not going to take a title shot just because you think it'll get me out of the way." I think that take still works as a heel.
Okay,
I think it
okay,
actually works. I think it actually works even better as a heel because,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
gonna go my way, roddy, roddy,
I
rah,
see
right?
that. I'm not against that. So you kind of
I
swung me
do
there,
think
but
I do think Seth and Braun have to win. They're the new act. You have to solidify them as they haven't actually wrestled as a team yet,
no.
I don't
And if they
think.
lose here, then what's the point of that? Like they're done already. You know what I mean? I mean, you can have them lose, and because it is Punk. I mean, yes, but that's like Nexus kind of level stuff.
The only way you have Punk and Sammy win here is if Braun kills both of them afterwards.
It would have to
And
be
I'm s
like,
and
yeah,
I'm saying if. Like, it would have to be a bad enough beating that CM Punk might have to miss Saudi, Rumble there.
more
Moving
than
swiftly
that,
on.
he would have to miss a few
So
funerals.
so the New Dangerous Alliance are gonna win.
Yes. Now, Logan
I
Paul
I
is
don't
not
I
beating
I
Jey
don't I don't
Uso.
think I don't think we see the Sammy turn, but
No.
I think we see the beginning of the Sammy turn.
Yes,
Like,
I agree.
we start the boulder down the hill, if you get my
Yes,
drift.
yes, I think because Sammy will
Um,
get pinned and Punk or maybe, and they can do a lot with this. Punk lets Sammy
I think
down, maybe.
I don't think Logan Paul's winning. I think
Yeah,
for the purposes of
but
I just
that's
wanna
not a
watch
full
the
foregone conclusion either because
no,
they set up this
for the
thing with
purposes of
Gunther.
I just want the world to burn, I'd love to see it. I'm sorry,
Liz
but I
hates
would.
that, but I would too because I think Gunther versus Logan is a better match than Jay and Gunther again. There's more excitement for me
Did
with
Gunther
Logan.
almost okay,
He turned face.
are you yeah, did he
Yeah.
almost babyface himself on Monday?
I lost it on Wednesday with Into Somewhere Weekly with Cody. It was I don't know
Everybody's like, "Oh
why
my
they
god, why?"
portrayed him as a face twice because he stood up to Seth as well. So I was
But
very confused.
he came up and what came up in conversation was, "Oh my god, I can't believe everybody has to go out there and kiss Logan's ass." And it's like, A, he was being sarcastic. B, it was one of those promos that leads into, "Yeah, you're this, this, and this, but I'm still gonna kill you."
Exactly. He
And
just said
C,
that
he
if you
wasn't
take the
saying anything that
title
wasn't
away.
true.
No, yeah,
He wasn't saying
absolutely.
anything
Anything
that
to see is
wasn't
true.
true.
And here's the thing. He's
But
like, if I don't take the title away from Jay, then that was
I'm gonna take it
personal.
off of you.
Exactly. And like so
But I do like the way he came out because the way he got into Logan Paul's face and the way it was a threat wrapped around a compliment, kind of. Because he was kind of like saying, "Oh, you think you're gonna have an easy time with Jay? Well, Jay beat me, so I guess that means you think you'd have an easy time with me."
yeah, because the
Pause.
audience chanting "You tapped out," and the
Yeah,
real creme de la creme of this whole night, as we run down the clock here, is Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. This steel
I will say
cage match. Woo,
before we get onto the cage match, because I know people are shitting on that match and it bothers me, right?
me
Thing
too.
with Jey Uso and Logan Paul, I get people don't like Logan Paul. It's fine, but you're gonna pretend that he's not good, and that's fine. You're coping. It's fine. Everything's fine. But I will say this match is going to be way more fun than people give it credit for.
Yes, I agree.
It's going to be it's going
Logan
to
has not
be
disappointed
cheer
once.
it's going to be but okay, well, in the ring, yes, but also, like, crowd participation. like the very, very simple, basic, come under our carny tent at the back corner of the circus. We've got a good guy for you to cheer. We've got a bad guy for you to boo. The old Jim Cornette, two guys fighting at the side of the road. If we put them in a ring, are you going to pay $5 to see it?
Exactly.
It's that simple, and it can be that simple. This match is going to be fun based on that simplicity.
That's all you need.
And in
And
the ring, I think it's gonna be way better than anybody gives it credit for as well, because Logan's great and Jey Uso does not suck.
exactly. And Damien and Drew, I hate that they're getting hate, but my God, this has been a good feud that came
Yeah,
from a nothing burger. They turned
yep,
into another stellar thing, and I
mhm.
think Drew wins here. I think he needs the win more. I think Damien can recover from the loss. Drew lost against Punk and really just
Did
uh
Drew won at Mania though, right? Do
he
am yeah. Priest has to get
I
something.
know, but I think I see that too, but I don't know. I think Drew gets this. I'm just
Yeah.
sticking with it.
I don't feel like I like Priest. Priest and Finn Balor are kind of similar to me right now, in different ways, right? Because I want stuff for them. I've wanted stuff for Balor since NXT, since, well, especially since when he went back to NXT and fixed himself and came back again. I've wanted something for him ever since, and Damian Priest ever since he lost the belt. It's like I just want stuff for these guys, and it feels like neither one of them has a foothold. Finn Balor has a story with the Judgment Day and the split, and Finn Balor's now recruited Roxanne Perez. So now there's this third woman in the, oh my god, they put Dom in there with Rhea and Liv, and now Roxanne. They're really bullying Dom's wife. Fuck off. Finn Balor does have something to do. He deserves at some point to get back to that main event scene.
Oh
So
yeah,
does Damian Priest. So it's so funny to me that
it's a
they
matter
fought
of
each other
time.
no, but they fought each other when the group split up, and
Yeah,
now they're both kind of in the same position. I'm really just, I watch them and I'm willing them to succeed, but I'm going in there with very measured expectations, because it, to me right now, the way with what they're doing, with what WWE's done with them, with how they're being presented, it doesn't feel to me like either one of them has a foothold right now. Like, never mind taking the first step, they
yeah.
don't even have their foot on the first step.
No, you're
And I
absolutely right.
think we talked about it earlier in the with the NXT thing with Jordan Grace. She can lose without really losing any steam.
Yeah.
I have to look at this in the Drew McIntyre doesn't lose anything by losing here. Priest continues to roll downward if he
Oh,
loses
see, I
again.
feel
To
the
me,
total
to me.
opposite. Yeah, see, so it's funny how you and I have different perspectives here, but I
I
feel
think
the exact
Drew's
opposite.
established. Like, I think because Damian Priest's
Drew
title
is
reign was
established,
in
yeah.
Damian Priest's whole title reign was in question. He did it off of Money in the Bank. Was he a real champion, or are we just waiting for somebody to take something off of him?
Yeah,
Like, it
was
was
it
a
only because of
schmoz.
Punk helping him and after the
Yeah, it
match
was a
and yeah.
schmoz that got him the belt, and then he and it in another schmoz because of Judgment Day. And I said it myself, so maybe I put the thought in my own head. I think the second he dropped the title, he looked 10 feet taller,
Oh, no
because it looked like
doubt.
it was weighing him
It
down,
was
and he was
absolutely
having
weighing him
trouble
down.
finding
It was
himself.
hurting him.
But it feels like he's just like, he won against Finn, and Rhea Ripley sort of took out Liv, and they had their powerful, like, whatever you want to say it, like, dominant moments,
Yeah,
but then they both buggered off,
and that was it.
and Rhea Ripley's still kicking ass. People are upset that she's in Money in the Bank. Of course she's in Money in the Bank. It's fine. Never mind. Let's skim over the fact that, like, Zoe Stark fucked herself up, and
Oh
I hope
god.
she's, and the
Apparently it's
news doesn't.
worse than yeah, the news is
Worst,
bad,
yeah,
so.
that's I will say the amount of support that I've seen her pop up for her on social media has been great. It does make me kind of say, where was that support when she was on TV trying to get somewhere? But that's going to be true for anybody. But I feel like the next loss Damian Priest takes is going to be the one that knocks him down to the bottom of the stairs,
Okay.
and that's not a good feeling to have. And like I say, I look at it, Drew McIntyre is kind of in the Jordan Grace role, in the sense of, yeah,
Yeah,
just
with
he's not going to lose anything by losing. They need to give
exactly.
Damian Priest something. Anyways, I've kept you 2 minutes too long, and I know you've got other places to be. Quickly tell them where to find you, and we'll
You
get out of
can
here.
find me on YouTube at Jake Countdown Ended DeMarco and then at Countdown Ended on Instagram, Twitter, and Rumble. And then I'll be live all
Sweet.
weekend. So, and you'll be around on Sunday, hopefully. We'll see what's going on, but
We
we'll
will.
we'll get
In
the
some way, shape, or
inside
form.
man,
Yeah.
you know, a man on the inside ground reporting as well from
You're going to
Gaining
be
Under
inside a
Siege.
man.
Ah.
And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz. This has been Jake. We've been talking about 2 different WWE shows. I hope you liked it. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
They put TNA in